Our guest in this segment is the president of the West Virginia Education Association, as he likes to say for now, Dale Lee. Good morning, Dale. Great to have you with us.
Oh, great to be on. Thank you for having me.
How's your health?
Oh, it's really good. I'm much better than I should be.
We had Intermediate Court of Appeals Judge Dan Greer on the program today, and Dan, of course, celebrating 25 years as a high school referee, high school football. Mm-hmm. And that made me think of your past as a high school basketball coach and many of your favorite run-ins with officials over the years.
Oh, we've had quite a few. I knew my last year coaching the last few games, I had a heart issue in 2021, and I think it was 2004, my heart at the end of the season started skipping beats, and my cardiologist says, all right, you got to quit coaching. I said, I got 2 weeks left. I'm not going to leave now. He said, you can sit on the bench, but you can't say anything. I said, all right. So I had an assistant that was doing the coaching, and I just sat there. In the first game at halftime, the referees come over and said, what's wrong with you? You haven't said a word to us today. The doctors are not letting me talk. That's when I knew I was bad.
See, they missed you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
In those debates, and I'm calling them debates or in exchange with the referees, did you ever lose, Dale?
All the time.
You never win, right?
I actually won one debate, but ended up losing it anyway. I won a debate over a 10-second call when only 7 seconds had gone off the clock, and I proved to the referee that he couldn't call a 10-second call there, and in my sarcastic way, I asked the bookkeeper, I said, what time was it when I called my first time out? He said, 5:49. I looked at the official, I said, now look at the clock with me. I happen to be real good in math, and it says 5:42. That's 7 seconds. I would have given you 9 seconds. I might have even given you 8. I can't give you 7 seconds. I said, you can't call a 10-second call there. He said, you're right, Coach, but I can call a technical. He did.
Oh, come on.
I guess I got a technical for being good in math.
I guess that's.
My goodness.
It happens.
Jeez.
It happens.
My, as a person who called many basketball games and many of those at courtside, my favorite moment was in a Martinsburg-Musselman game. Martinsburg was playing at Musselman. Derek Basile was Musselman coach, still is, as far as I know. And this was a big game. So the first 7 fouls of the game got called on Musselman, the home team. Derek Basile calls a timeout, and I can hear this in my ears plain as day. He looks at the referee, Eddie Fincham. The late Eddie Fincham was a great high school referee locally.
God rest his soul.
And he looks at Eddie and he goes, do you even want us here? And he points up at the scoreboard and it says, Musselman 7 fouls, Martinsburg nothing. Eddie looks at the scoreboard, looks away, then does a quick double take and sees the fouls are 7-0 against Musselman. Play resumes. The next 7 fouls are called on Martinsburg.
Of course. Of course.
I think Musselman could have tackled a Martinsburg player at that point and gotten away with it because of the way that started.
Well, I was a parent who, perhaps you'll find this hard to believe, was very vocal.
I believe that.
And the age differential between my children is 5 years. And there was actually a referee who, when my daughter was playing basketball after my son, the referee came over to me and said, how can you still be here? Because I just gave him, mine was the 3-second call, because girls in general just would camp out in the
paint,
in the lane, and it drove me nuts. And every now and again I got the call, so to speak. So anyway,
let's talk education, Mr. Lee. Right, as we get ready to wind down a school year, the final day in Berkeley County is this Thursday. As we complete the year, give us a summation of this school year and whether you thought it was a success from various perspectives, and what improvement do you think there could be?
You know, it was a tough year. It was a success in the fact that with 1,500 positions across the state without a certified teacher in them, with every county having shortages in substitutes, with every county having shortages of bus drivers, cooks, custodians, aides. We made it through the year, and children's education didn't suffer. Our bus drivers, you got to give them a lot of credit. They would double up on runs. They would do everything possible to get the kids there. Our educators covered classes, combined classes, gave up their planning periods. Our cooks never missed a meal. Our aides did a tremendous job. We did a great year, but we can do better because we have to get people in the profession. We have to get people excited about wanting to be an educator, and we have to fill these positions.
The legislature signed a bill, Troops to Teachers bill. Dale, your thoughts on that bill and whether or not you think it'll help?
We've had Troops to Teachers before, and there are probably three or four, maybe five different ways that alternative certifications that you can go through in West Virginia right now. I think it will help initially, but what we saw when we had Troops to Teachers before is not a lot of them stayed in the classroom. It's a very difficult job, and it's even more difficult now. And when you don't have the pedagogy, you don't have the classroom management and everything that you may need, you're going to leave the profession quickly. But it's a start.
Legislative oversight of the State Board of Education.
That to me is a slap in the face to the voters across West Virginia when 50 counties voted against that as a constitutional amendment a couple of years ago. It's a slap in the face to the Supreme Court, who's already ruled. Gosh, I can't even speak this morning. I feel like I'm talking to a referee again.
Watch that heartbeat.
The Supreme Court has already ruled it's unconstitutional, and yet we passed that bill and did it anyway. I expect a legal challenge, and we'll see where that goes.
The executive order regarding vaccinations in public schools.
I don't know why we want to do that. We are one of the tops in the nation in the health of our kids as far as measles, all these diseases go. We are not seeing any cases in West Virginia, and it's because of our vaccine policy. To want to step back, I mean, do we want to be like Texas where they're having multiple outbreaks of measles and everything right now? I can't see us wanting to do that. I think the legislature even said, no, this is a bad idea. It was voted down pretty substantial in the House, and yet to say, we don't care what the lawmakers say, I'll do an executive order, and this is the way it's going to be.
Maria.
So how long?
By the way, before you go, the 13-mile marker for Interstate 81 southbound has been reopened. There was an accident about an hour and a half ago, I guess, around that area that closed down at least two of the three lanes. That's now reopened. Go ahead, Maria.
Dale, how long until the consolidation? Refresh our memories on that between AFT, WVEA. When is that scheduled to finish?
The merger. Yeah,
the merger. Sorry.
We will be a new organization, Education West Virginia, September 1. As a matter of fact, since April 1, we've been signing up new members, and they are all signing up as a part of Education West Virginia as we speak. And then in August, all of our members will get, and all of AFT members will get notification that they now are a part of Education West Virginia, and we won't miss a beat.
And how? What are the differences between the with that merger? What changes? What stays the same?
Well, one of the things that changes is we quit fighting each other for the same membership. The second thing and major thing that changes is doesn't allow the legislature to play one side against the other. Over the years in my career as president, I've had legislators say, well, we would do this that you're asking for, but AFT wants this, or AFT, we give you this, but WVEA wants this. Well, they can't do that anymore. We're one united force, and we can change the structure of the way we do things as an organization. We can become more member-driven, and I think that's going to be a positive for our members.
And what percentage of teachers and if I'm not mistaken, service personnel can be a part of this organization? What percentage? Yes.
Yes, I mean every educator, actually pre-K through colleges can be a member, and every service personnel can be a member. The only people that can't be members of Education West Virginia are lead principals and superintendents, and that was one of the things that the differences in two organizations. We had some administrators and some superintendents in WVEA, and it was decided early on that it wanted to be a organization of just the educators, not the supervisors.
And what percentage of professional educators in West Virginia belong to, well, currently one or the other of the unions? And then what's that number once you merge? Do you anticipate?
Well, we don't give membership numbers out, but it's a large percentage of the educators across the state, the teachers across the state that will be members, and it's a smaller number of service personnel because there's also the West Virginia School Service Personnel Association.
Dale, do you anticipate that you'll have any identifiable role in the new merged organization?
Yeah, I'll be the co-president of the new organization until the first convention. The first convention will be in the spring of 2027. The first officers will take office July 1 of 2027. So I'll be around until at least June 30th of 2027, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.
Now, from a practical...
All this rain, that could
happen.
Could be trouble.
Yeah. From a practical point, you're going to be a co-head or co-chairman,
Yes.
or co-something.
Co-president.
Co-president. Yet you bring in several years of being an outsized personality that has been probably the leading force in education. How's that going to work with your other co-chair?
Well, thank you for saying that. I've tried to do a job of speaking out for not only the educators of West Virginia, but the children of West Virginia, and it will be fine. I mean, we will coexist extremely well. There are strengths that she have. I have a lot of weaknesses that happen to be her strengths, so she can. We'll be able to move in on things like that, and I'll have to check my ego at the door a little bit to say, I'm not the only voice anymore.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, she has been who now?
Christy Skidmore from Randolph County.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, we had Christy on shortly after she succeeded Fred.
The governor says he's going to call a special session to look seriously at PEIA. What do you hope that will come from the special session?
What I hope is that they will bring all the players to the table and to say, this is a problem we have to figure out. And we have to figure out how we can keep our employees, our plan participants from burdening more than the undue share of the cost of PEIA. We all have to have some skin in the game. Part of the problem is there are some things that we can't solve in West Virginia. We can't solve the prescription drug problem. It's a national problem. When you're paying anywhere from 10 to 100 times more for a drug in the United States than you can get in Mexico or Canada, that's a problem. But what I'm hoping is that we will all go to the table and everybody come up with some solutions. And then more importantly is that the legislature actually act on the recommendations that we all come up with this year.
Now, have you been at the table in years past?
Oh, yeah. In 2018, 2019, that was one of the sticking points of the work stoppage. And there was a task force developed. We all went to the table. We went across the state listening to people. We came up with recommendations, and we made those recommendations. As a matter of fact, we drafted a bill for the legislature. The motion, I made the motion, and it was seconded by then Finance Chair Craig Blair, who became Senate President, for the recommendations, and the bill never even got on a committee agenda. That's why I say, whatever we come up with, I would hope that the legislature this time would take it serious and say, yeah, we need to do something. Well, I think there's enough of them there that want to do something now.
Well, I think you're going to have to do something, or
Sure.
as a body's got to do something. We're getting this got to be pulled under control one way or the other. Dale, and I'm saying this in a very complimentary way, I've always had the sense that you've tended to look ahead as opposed to looking backwards. We may well be faced with the Medicare and Medicaid being cut substantially in the state. That has yet to be proven, but indications are that will happen. What impact will that have on the schools and your members?
That will be a tremendous impact on our kids. I actually had a meeting with Senator Capito. April, I think. It was during the legislative session. I flew to D.C. for a meeting with Senator Capito and expressed my concerns about the cuts to Medicaid, but so many of our kids on it, the cuts to the child nutrition programs, and those types of things. And I believe that she will do everything she can to make those cuts as minimal as possible and to help our kids in West Virginia. But if these full cuts come through, it will be devastating to our kids and our educators.
Did you? This was driven in large part from the House, at least up to this point in time. The
Right.
Senate has yet to weigh in. Have you talked to Congressman Miller and Riley Moore?
I have talked to Congressman Miller. I haven't talked to Congressman Moore. As a matter of fact, the day that I flew up to have the meeting with Senator Capito, on the flight back, I happened to be on the same flight with Congresswoman Miller. And we did talk about it, and I believe that she understands that we can't do the things that will take away from our students.
Dale Lee is the president of the WVEA. He joins us via telephone. Are you hearing anything in regards to the Department of Education cuts at the federal level and how that might affect West Virginia either in a positive or a negative way? I'm hearing more about direct block grants to states that would have less strings attached, for instance.
Well, that I hear that, but the block grants don't always get to where they need to go and be used for the purposes that they need to be used. So I'm very leery about that. I'm very leery about cuts to Title I, to IDEA, our special ed programs, and I don't know if we can come up with a fair and succinct way of getting that money out any better than what we're doing right now.
When we interview members of the local Board of Education, even the superintendents in years past and even present, one of their complaints is that so much of the federal money has so many strings attached, they don't have the freedom to do some of the things that they think would be effective from a local standpoint. Dale, do you get many of those same expressed thoughts when you talk to people around the state?
I do, and one of the things that I think would be very beneficial is that if we actually have site-based decision-making where the educators at a school or a county can decide what's best for them and what will work for them and give them the freedom to try some things. We did that in the early 2000 teens with innovation zones, and they worked. But if you go to the educators who are the experts in education and say, what do we need to do? How do we need to change this? But it has to be a bottoms-up decision. It can't be the top saying, here's what you're going to do, and this is the way you're going to do it. You meet resistance that way. When you have a seat at the table, you have buy-in, and it works much better.
Discipline in the classroom. Dale, did we make any progress in this legislative year in terms of getting a handle on that? Some think that we have.
We made a little bit of progress, and that you can remove that unruly child, but we didn't make any progress in addressing the mental and emotional needs of the students. I was at a conference last week, and it was on the mental and emotional state of our students and our educators. And there are things that we need to do. One of the biggest disappointments that I have is there was a bill that actually passed House Education, and I don't remember the number right offhand, that would have had 10 pilot projects across the state of West Virginia that would, in essence, have a behavioral interventionist with these kids and working with these kids, and the money would have been funded through Medicare money. So it wouldn't have cost the state anything, and the bill died in House Finance.
I've got about a minute and a half left. Any final thoughts? They belong to you. What do you have to say?
Well, I always enjoy coming on and talking to you. You all ask great questions. You have a great insight in not just Berkeley County and the Eastern Panhandle, but things going on across the state. I hope that I can continue to be a voice for the students, and I hope that we actually can make some progress in this next coming year.
Thank you, Dale. And you still have 2 years until you retire from this post, if I got the math correct, 27 to 25.
Yes.
So I think you'll be a guest a few more times before then.
I would hope so. And Bill, I have my tie on, sitting here with my tie.
Well, I was hoping so. That was going to be one of my
Absolutely.
questions, but Maria's probably challenged me and said that's an inappropriate question.
Oh, I won't ever do an interview there again without a tie.
What is it? A blue tie, Dale?
Yes, it is. It's a blue shirt and a blue tie.
Well,
There we go.
you're properly dressed.
And that, very nicely done.
Always great talking with you, Dale.
Thank you,
Great
Dale.
talking to you all. Thank you all. Thank you.
Have a great day. That is Dale Lee, president of the West Virginia Education Association.